Okay, Ruth, can you bring up Facebook and make sure that we're going live and this is all like working?
That's exactly what I got. My laptop up and open right now. I'm
Okay,
just
great.
about to pop in there.
Okay, Ruth helps me on a lot of these, and she's kind of one of my behind the scenes gurus.
Hello, everybody. Good morning or good afternoon. Good evening. And we're good. And I know people are very excited about this.
I am.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No.
Here.
My kitchen is so tiny, it's very tricky to. Okay.
All right.
All right, guys, we are live, and I want to welcome everybody to the very first Hollywood Kitchen Guacamole Smackdown, featuring two iconic horror stars that we all know and love, Boris Karloff and Vincent Price. And we're going to talk about their movies and their guacamole recipes. So I have got an incredible array of very talented people, literally from around the world, joining us today. So, and our special guest is Peter Fuller from the Vincent Price estate, all the way in England. So Peter, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Should I do speaker view or group view? Because I think right now it's on group view. Which one do you think would work better, Ruth?
Do it on speaker view. That way each person gets
their close up.
Yes. So everyone will get their close up. So do your best demil.
All right. Okay. So to get things started, I thought we could all, if you've already pre-made your recipe, I can't even see, am I even on here right now?
When you talk, Carrie, you get on.
I do. Huh. Okay. Because I can't see me at all, but I'm just going to assume that it's working. So hopefully it is.
Working. I can see you.
You can see me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, very cool. Okay, so I thought first we could make our guacamoles for those of you who are making them on camera, or for those of you who have already pre-made them, that will be awesome as well. And then I will kind of whip up the guacamole, and while we're doing that, Peter can kind of talk to us about his work with the Vincent Price estate. And then once we finish the guac, I'll kind of go around the virtual room and ask everybody about which horror stars films you love the most and why. And then we'll talk about which guacamole recipe you love the most and why. So first off, I'm gonna whip up Boris's guacamole. Personally, I love recipes where you just dump everything in a bowl because it's pretty simple for me. So for Boris's, we've got the avocados. I'm gonna make a smaller size because I'm just by myself. The tomato. Okay, chopped onions, green chilies, okay, some lemon juice, and the item that's kind of a little unusual for Boris's guacamole is the 2 teaspoons of sherry. We were just talking about this off camera. I was kind of unusual for. Can everybody hear me? Just talking about this off camera. I was kind of unusual for. Can everybody hear me? Has somebody got their sound up? Because I'm hearing myself like. Has somebody got their sound up? Because I'm hearing myself like.
Yeah.
Ruth, does somebody else have their Does somebody else have their
I'm checking to see if mute is on. Is everyone on mute? I'm checking to see if mute is on. Is everyone on mute? I'm checking to see if mute is on. Is everyone on mute?
what's going on here technically? This is really weird.
I know there's this echo that's coming.
If everybody can mute until we kind of open up the floor, that would be cool. So maybe we can figure out the echo.
I know there's this echo that's coming.
If everybody can mute until we kind of open up the floor, that would be cool. So maybe we can figure out the echo.
There's this echo that's coming.
If everybody can mute until we open up the floor, that would be cool. Okay, can everybody mute for the moment? Okay, Ruth, can anybody hear the echo or is it gone? Right, Ruth, do we sound okay now? Yes?
Yeah, I think it's gone.
Okay, I'm blaming Halloween and I'm blaming the monsters for my technical problems. Last week I had a light keep short circuiting during my whole Lucy episode. So I think the monsters are just playing with me. That's what I think is going on right now. Okay, so I'm gonna mash up Boris's guacamole right now. And the fact that there is sherry in it is a little strange. At first I thought, well, maybe that's an English cooking thing. And then a friend told me that's not the case. And then someone said, well, maybe it's a mid-century thing. So I'm not sure if anybody knows the answer to that or has an explanation of why the sherry is in there. If you do, unmute yourselves and let me know what you think about it. But I have made Boris's guac before. And what I will say is that I really can't taste the sherry myself. I think that the onions and the chilies and everything else sort of obliterates that sherry taste. I'm going to add a dash of salt and pepper. And by the way, I'm not getting paid to say this at all, but Halloween Town store in Burbank has these super cute headstones for salt and pepper. So anyway, that's where I got those. And we're going to add a dash of cayenne pepper as well. Okay, so we've basically got the Boris Karloff guacamole all made up and ready. All right, now we're going to move on to the Vincent Price guacamole. Now, as we're going to talk about here, Vincent was an incredible gourmet and a Renaissance man. He wrote multiple cookbooks, was an art collector. He was really an amazing guy, and I love his work. I've always been a big Vincent Price fan. And the guacamole recipe that we're going to make today, it comes from his book, A Treasury of Great Recipes. And I am lucky enough to have a first edition of this book, but I'm not going to open it on my table because if I spill guacamole all over this book, I will be very, very upset. So I'm going to show it off and then set it aside right here. And then, all right, I printed out the recipe instead. So, okay, we've got the avocados. Now we are going to once again add the standard ingredients. Again, I'm making it a little smaller because it's just me. The lemon juice, the small onion, let's see, green chili, green chili. I did not get coriander. The only coriander I could find at my local grocery store was in a gigantic bottle that cost $9, which seemed a little excessive for this. So I'm skipping the coriander. And
Carrie,
yeah,
coriander is cilantro.
that's what it is.
The coriander seeds are used differently, but if they refer to coriander like fresh coriander, it's cilantro.
I learn something new every day. Thank you. I did not know that. It's just $9 for ground coriander just seemed like crazy to me. Okay, so a little bit of dash of salt right here. Okay, it calls for a part of a clove of garlic. So I've got a little bit of pressed garlic to add here. And okay, the strange ingredient for Vincent's recipe is the addition of mayonnaise. Now this is a first for me. I have never put mayonnaise in guacamole before. I guess there's a first time for everything in life. So I can't believe I'm doing this, but here goes. I'm gonna put some mayonnaise in here. Okay. All right, let's see. I've got my tomato. And then it also says cayenne pepper optional, which I will do. And then it says Worcester sauce, another first. I have never put Worcester sauce in guacamole either, but here we go. All right, so I'm gonna put Worcester sauce. And Vincent was a gourmet, so he's clearly, knows what he's talking about when it comes to food. So I'll put the Worcester sauce in here and mash it all up. Now, while I am mashing all this together, Peter, I would like to introduce you and talk to you. You are from the Vincent Price estate in England. So tell us about your work with Vincent Price's organization, and tell us about your upcoming cookbook, which you co-wrote with Jenny Hamilton of Silver Screen Suppers. Peter?
Oh, you can hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Okay.
Sorry, I muted myself just so that you could actually get rid of the other problems. Yeah, basically is that I've been working with the Vincent Price estate since 2015, because in 2011, when it was the centennial of Vincent's birthday, when he was 100, there was a fantastic event in St. Louis, Missouri, which is where he was from, which is his hometown. And there was a 5-day event which was done by Tom Stockman. It was a wonderful event. It had film screenings, it had exhibitions, and it brought together loads of Vincent Price fans from around the US. And I went over there myself, and everybody was quite impressed by the fact they go, oh, this person from the UK has come all this way for this event. And I got to meet Victoria. And I said to her, I'd love to recreate something like this back in the UK, because I've been a Vincent Price fan ever since I was a young lad. He's always been a mentor of mine, because his films have always just really gelled with me. In a lot of ways, is that it was because he was doing films that had literary connections with like Shakespeare or Nathaniel Hawthorne or Edgar Allan Poe. It got me to read. And I was a remedial student when I was a kid. I actually had to go to remedial classes because I had problems with learning how to write. And he actually helped me. And I think he's always been a mentor for me on that respects. And so anyway, when I actually did an event here, I put on a 5-day event, and we did the similar thing. We actually had 5 days of film screenings, film location tours, which is what I do here now in the UK. And also we also embraced Vincent's love of the arts. So we actually went to the Courtauld Institute, which is where he actually studied when he came here to actually do his master's. Because I don't know whether people are familiar with the fact that, like, when Vincent actually left Yale University, he came over to London and actually did a master's in art, because he was actually he wanted to become an art historian or an art lecturer, but he actually loved the stage at the same time. And so he actually joined something which is a members club called the Gate Theatre here in London. And it was whilst he was doing this, which is a membership theatre, so you didn't have to be a proper paid up actor, that he was doing Victoria Regina, where he was playing Prince Albert. And of course, the Americans found out about it, loved him as Prince Albert, got transferred to New York. He ended up working with Helen Hayes. The rest is history. Vincent made his mark in New York and became a famous actor. So, he started out here. And so that I felt it was really good to actually have something here about Vincent. And we also did culinary stuff as well. We actually, in the treasury, which you've got there, there's also a bit about Harrods restaurant and the Ivy. So of course we actually went and did events there. We had a fantastic breakfast put on by Harrods, where we actually made his Buckingham eggs, which was actually in the treasury. It was great. It was a great day. And so since then, over the last few years, Victoria and I have now actually joined forces, and we've actually been doing events here in the UK and in Europe, where we've actually been celebrating Vincent's legacy by putting on like presentations, tours, and just continuing with, his love, his passion for life, his passion for like art and architecture and film and everything like that, and also food. And so that's what made me want to actually like produce this book, which is called Supper with the Stars. So would you like me to talk about that, or would you like a break?
I would, because when I started this project, I was looking up celebrity recipes. I kind of collected them for years and not really done much with them. And then I decided to do these little videos I've been doing. And I Googled and came across Jenny and the website Silver Screen Suppers. And she has been so nice. Anytime I've emailed her and asked her a question or tried to track down a rare recipe, she's been wonderful. So I became a big fan. She's like the original gangster of celebrity blogging, of celebrity recipes. And when I heard that you and Jenny were doing a cookbook, I was so excited. And I thought, oh my God, I have got to order that. I'm so excited about it. So yes, I would love to hear all about the cookbook. And if you could even give us a sneak peek of it, that would really be cool.
Yes, I can, because yesterday I actually received the books. They're here. Oh, I can't believe it. So basically, I'll give you a background about how it actually originated. Is that Jenny had reached out, actually it was Victoria who actually got me in contact with Jenny, because she had actually done an event at Abattoir, which is the International Horror Festival in Wales, and she had met Victoria there. And then when I was doing my 2015 London Legacy Tour, I reached out to Jenny, thanks to Victoria, and asked her to actually like do some food at an event that we had at St. Bart's Pathology Museum here, where we screened Scream and Scream Again, in amongst like loads of like hundreds of specimens of human remains in jars and things. It was a fantastic event. And Victoria came over and she did a fantastic presentation about the legacy of her dad. And we just thought, we just got on so well. And I was at her place one day and I was rifling through, she was making a lovely Vincent Price themed dinner based on the, I think it was Bounty of Paradise, which is like one of the records that he did. And I was going through her files and I was sitting there going, wait a sec, that person, that person, they were all actually worked with Vincent Price at one stage. And I thought to myself, look, what a great idea. Why don't we do a cookbook about Vincent's co-stars? You know, another way of like going back into the past and actually seeing some great old actors and actresses from the golden years of Hollywood. And I thought, we'll do that. And then Jenny sort of said, yeah, we could pair it with Vincent's recipes as well. And I said, yeah, great idea. So I actually contacted Victoria and she said, yeah, use the recipes from the old cookbooks. Fantastic. So now what we've got is this fantastic idea of basically 52 co-stars, because Vincent did over 100 films. So we couldn't do 100 films. We thought 52 co-stars, that is basically one dinner a week paired with one of Vincent's recipes. So you could actually have a 2-course meal one day of the week for all year. And what we've done is we've selected them based on the recipes that Jenny had. So we've got everybody from, I'll just read you a selection of people. So we've got Agnes Moorehead, of course, Bewitched, Anne Francis, Forbidden Planet, Ava Gardner, Basil Rathbone, Bette Davis, Boris Karloff, Brett Halsey, who was in Return of the Fly, which he actually sent us his personal recipe, because obviously a lot of these co-stars are actually long past now, but the ones who are actually still alive, we went out and reached out to them and they've given us their personal recipes, which is fantastic. So we've got Charlie Bronson, Charlton Heston, and we've got Dana Andrews, David Frankham. Don't know whether you know him, but he was in 3 films with Vincent: Return of the Fly, Master of the World, and Tales of Terror. And he was lovely. He sent us a recipe. Diana Rigg, she's in there. So is Elizabeth Shepherd, who was in To Malaysia. She sent us a wonderful recipe, which I really, really enjoyed. I'm not a very big fan on rabbit, but her rabbit stew was absolutely delicious. And we've got Ava Gabor and Frankie Avalon from the Beach Party movies. We've got Groucho Marx. We've got Ian Ogilvy. Now he was in Witchfinder General with Vincent, and there's a hilarious story which you'll find in the book about his recipe. We've got Jane Asher, who is hugely famous here in Britain for making party cakes, and she is in here as well. So is Joan Fontaine, John Carradine, and even Johnny Depp.
Really? Oh.
Yeah. We've got Lillian Gish, which is she's got her dish is great. Tagliatelle, fantastic. Lon Chaney Jr. We've got Peter Cushing over here. He has a vegetarian dish, which is really good. We have actually got loads of vegetarian dishes in this book.
Oh, good.
Robert Mitchum, and then Ronald Colman, of course, who was Vincent's idol as a child. You know, he modeled his voice and his characters on Ronald Colman. So we've got him in there. Shelley Winters, I have to tell you a story about that one. Her Caesar salad. So we actually tried her Caesar salad the other night, and it requires a raw egg.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't very nice. But we changed it. We actually got rid of the raw egg, and it tastes brilliant. There's also Tallulah Bankhead, Terry Thomas, Victor Mature, and William Bendix from Dangerous Mission. So 52 co-stars, and you've got a raft of recipes ranging from salads to desserts to meats to vegetarian food, and it's absolutely gorgeous. But the big thing is about this book is that what I wanted to do is I wanted to meld food and film history.
Yes.
So what I've done is I'll just give you I'll just select Trouble with Girls with Elvis Presley. So you'll actually get a lovely gallery of photos with the synopsis of the film, okay? And then also you get a biography as well of each co-star. And then what I've done is I've organized it so that the recipes are actually on a double page spread, so you don't have to turn the page. You'll always have to be able to just look at one page of 2 recipes on every single recipe. So there's none of this go on the other side and what's next, So I think that looks good. But the best thing is that have a look at these caricatures.
Those are great.
These have been done by a chap in New York called Ben Wiki. He did a short film, I don't know whether anyone's seen it, with David Frankham, called House of the Seven Gables, based on the Nathaniel Hawthorne book. And David Frankham actually narrated it, but he did these puppets. It's a stop motion animation, wonderful thing, where it looked like Vincent Price. And he modeled it on Vincent, and I loved it. It was sort of a bit like gory, his animation. And I thought I'd reached out to him and I said, would you like to do some caricatures? And he has done 52 of the caricatures, which, this is the back cover. This is just a little bit of what you see.
Those are fantastic.
Absolutely gorgeous. They are wonderful. And then so that, in a sense, is the book. You get 2 meals. You get to read a little bit about Vincent's film history. Not just the horror, but also comedy, drama, suspense, thrillers, and everything. And a great little buy, I think.
Well, Peter, this is fabulous. And, maybe in the future we could collaborate on episodes over Zoom, or maybe someday in person when I can get back to London. But I would love that, because part of the thing that has helped me doing these episodes during the pandemic is that a lot of us have felt so isolated and alone, and it's been a scary time. And I think no matter where we are, where we live, what culture we are, etc., food and movies are things that everybody loves, and they kind of have the power to bring us together. And even during the pandemic, just being able to cook with other people over Zoom in my kitchen and talk to them, that's kind of been a lifeline. So I would love to maybe collaborate when I get your book, and maybe we could do these dinners over the internet, or figure out a way to kind of keep doing this, because again, it's so much fun to spread the word about these great movies and the food and the stars behind them.
And that's one thing, that's another inventive thing about this book, is that we had 75 testers from around the world testing the recipes, because obviously these recipes can come from the 30s, the 40s, the 50s. Food habits have changed. So they've actually looked at the recipes, did it themselves at home, but they all did it during lockdown. So a lot of the verdicts, we've got a little section here on each page, which is called The Verdict.
I love it.
it's there, it's what they actually said about each recipe. And some of them, actually, a lot of them are about their COVID lockdown stories. It's about how difficult it was to get a turnip, how, you know, what do they replace it with? And it was a really, I loved it. It's actually the thing that I like most about the book is that personality, that human story that comes through the recipes. So you can actually see it as being a film reference book, a cookbook, but also a time in place book, you know.
Wow, that is fantastic. Well, I've already ordered my copy and I am so excited to get it because I will definitely be spreading the word far and wide. I've already tried to do that and I certainly will when I get my hands on that book.
And I thought what we could do is I could actually read you the verdict of what someone said about Vincent's guacamole at some point.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Would you like me to read it to you?
pardon?
Would you like me to read it to you?
Do you guys want to do that? You everybody want to nod? You want to
this-
hear what the book says? Okay, let's hear what the book says. Let's hear what the
Okay,
book
so
says.
this is the two testers did Vincent's guacamole. So okay, so this is Marianne Owens, and she lives in St. Louis, Missouri, Vincent's hometown. And she said, and she shared his guacamole with 3 friends. She wrote, one person said they did not eat guacamole, but I convinced them to give it a try. He did, and he proceeded to eat a lot of it. All thought it was quite tasty, and we typically love my daughter's guacamole recipe, but they said that this recipe was even better. And Shonetta Alcess in Edinburgh, Scotland, he chose lime juice over lemon juice and concluded, wow, I am originally from California, so I know a thing or two about guacamole. At first, I was skeptical about using mayonnaise, but it actually gives the dish a creamy texture. Shonetta recommended holding back some of the ingredients for topping the guacamole and wrote, I would use this recipe again, playing around with various ingredients. I'd use pitted black olives as a garnish. So that's the kind of thing that you get.
I have one friend, and every single Halloween, for like Halloween parties, she makes deviled eggs, and then she gets a black olive and cuts them up and makes them look like crawling spiders. So that might be a fun and seasonally appropriate garnish as well. Well, good. Thank you for giving us those reviews. That is fantastic. So I think now we're going to start going through our incredible panel of guests. I'm going to start out with my friend of over 25 years, Olya Volnavia Fibes. We met in college, and she does all of the Art Deco graphics that you see on my Hollywood Kitchen website and Instagram and all the stuff I post like that. She's so talented, and she is joining us today from Mexico. So Olya, thank you for joining us.
Hola, buenos días.
Hola.
Buenas tardes. Yes,
So Olya,
I did Vincent Price's right here, so it's looking quite nice.
excellent.
It wasn't quite as aesthetic as I wanted it to be, like when I first made it, but I think it looks better with the presentation. And it does taste very interesting. The Worcestershire sauce gives it a very like different flavor, I think.
Okay. And did you make Boris's or just Vincent's?
I just made Vincent's.
Not a problem. Now tell us, and I think I already know the answer to this because I know you, but tell us what your favorite Vincent Price movie is and why.
Well, it is The Abominable Dr. Phibes. And I have been using Phibes as my professional / stage name for almost 20 years now. So it's actually, I realize it's now listed as my alias on my credit report is the name Phibes.
That is so awesome.
So yeah, no, I just love that movie. I saw it, God, so many years ago. I think I was a teenager when I first saw it, but I just loved it. I love the whole aesthetic, the whole vibe. I like a lot of Vincent Price movies, but that one was kind of like the notch above for me.
Do you have a favorite Boris Karloff movie?
Huh. I mean, it's probably Frankenstein. Like that's just a classic. And I loved, that's another one that as a teenager, I loved the book. And then so Frankenstein for sure, I think.
Okay, and it turns 90 this year too. So everybody, if you haven't watched Frankenstein again, 90th anniversary. So all right, Olya, thank you so much for giving us your opinion on all of this. Okay, Ken Johnson, you are joining us from England. You are such a talented lady, and I love this collar so darn much. I swear I'm wearing it like crazy these days. So thank you for being here.
You're very welcome.
And you love classic Hollywood horror and Halloween as much as a lot of us do. So what are your favorite Vincent and Boris movies? And by the way, guys, these don't need to be horror movies unless that is your favorite.
Well, trying to pick a favorite Boris movie is like trying to choose between your children, because I love everything from him appearing for 5 minutes in Scarface to his coffee ads to all the Poverty Row films he made. I hear that voice, I don't care. And am I the only one who thinks he's kind of hot? I mean, this is by my bed. Okay, this is Boris in The Mummy, which I just think as a movie, it's incredible, considering the budget, how much is done with the lighting and just the sheer creepiness of the trailing bandage is just, it's genuinely quite frightening. And he just looks so gorgeous. But if I've got to pick one, if I've got to save one for posterity, then it's got to be The Bride. I mean, there's Boris. He's gorgeous, even as a monster. The Bride, I mean, in film history, has anyone ever made so much of an impression in 10 minutes as Elsa Lanchester in that film?
Oh, yeah.
And then, I mean, people don't talk about Una O'Connor. Oh my God, I love that woman. No one can scream, no one can panic. Oh, Dr. Pretorius. No one can do it like Una O'Connor. And then you've got the strange little people that Dr. Pistorius plays, the little tiny Henry VIII, the little homunculus. What's that about? And then, of course, there's Colin Clive. Don't make me do it. I can't do it. Fetch me a brain. Doesn't take much persuading to say. It's just amazing on all fronts. And then you've got all the special effects that just go on forever. Everyone knows about the lightning rod, about the bed raising up to the roof. Once you get me started, I can't stop. So yeah, I'm going to go for The Bride of Frankenstein. I've loved Boris Karloff in classic horror since I was a child. My dad was sneaked in by his usherette sister in the 1930s to see them when he probably was far too young. So all my life, if you didn't like something, it was and he'd put on his Bela Lugosi voice, and always loved them. Vincent Price, I am a recent convert, having seen your David Scarl episode about Vincent Price, and I just love Theatre of Blood. You can't beat it. Just fabulous. My favourite part is the hairdresser part. I could watch that on a loop, his crazy wig and his crazy persona. So I made both because they're both gods of horror.
Yes.
Let's face it.
And which guacamole did you like better?
Well, I'm going to taste them live. And since I don't actually like avocados, you have to excuse me if I spit. So I'm going for Boris Karloff first. Not bad. I hope he wins because he's my favourite. I'm going to have to say, I think I prefer Vincent's. I think it's that little hint of Worcestershire sauce that just tips it over. So sorry, Boris, I'll have to turn his picture to the wall tonight.
Well, thank you, Hen. That was wonderful. I love this. Thank you. And follow Hen on Instagram, Miss Pitchy Patchy, and she makes these gorgeous collars and scarves and hats, and they're exquisite, and I have several of them, so thank you. Thank you so much. Benjamin joining us from Germany. Hey, Benjamin.
Hi, Carrie. Thank you for having me.
I love you. You seriously stage a scene like no one I have met. I love the hand, the crosses, that no stone has gone unturned in your home in Germany.
Yes, it was quite a preparation today, so I'm glad it worked out. Yes.
So tell us, what are your favorite films? What is your favorite film from Vincent, from Boris? Why?
Well, from Boris, it's also The Bride of Frankenstein. Interestingly, I knew the images way before I saw the movies, and it was interesting to see them actually move and to see his style of acting, which I think is very theatrical. And of course, to hear him speak and to see the moves, that was quite interesting to see. Years after I have watched the images, of course, Elsa Lanchester, she's great with his hair and everything. That's really an iconic image. And with Vincent Price, I love to learn in how many movies he was, and I love that he is in classic like Laura with Gene Tierney, and was it Leave Her to Heaven, which
Yes,
is one of
that's
the
one of
most
my favorites. But
one of the most beautiful photographed color movies, I think. And I also love the fact that he was in 2 films with Jane Russell, who I might have here. They did 2 movies together, and I love to learn that they had a lifelong friendship. So yeah, that's very interesting to learn for me.
excellent. So did you make you? It looks like you made both guacamole. I love that you have a cross that looks like a headstone. I thoroughly approve of that.
Yes, I made them in advance because I thought, well, maybe the ingredients would be taste a bit better or connect a bit better. So this is Boris's, which is a bit more like brownish, I think.
Okay.
And the other is Vincent, which looks a bit more green to me.
Okay.
And actually, this is the winner for me because I think it's very soft and very rich because of the ingredients, I think. So for me, it's Vincent.
Excellent. All right. Well, Benjamin, thank you so much. Okay,
Thank
now
you.
we're going to talk to Krista Lawler from Indiana. Krista, welcome to Hollywood Kitchen.
Hi.
Hey.
So I'm going to go off the beaten track because I'm going to name 2 that haven't been named. My favorite Boris movie is not actually Frankenstein, it's The Black Cat. And I want to loop in that the fact that I would want to live in that house.
Oh,
without
yes.
without the dead bodies. But yeah, I like The Black Cat with Boris, and then with Vincent, I like The Pit and the Pendulum.
Excellent.
And then I don't eat avocado, but my husband does, and I pre-made it. And I didn't make as much as Boris because I didn't have as much avocados left. And then I made Vincent. So I have more of Vincent. And we liked Vincent better.
We like Vincent's. Okay, Vincent is in the lead for the Smackdown right now. Peter, I know that will make you happy. This is good. This is fun. All right, thank you, Krista, and thank you for going to the effort with all the Halloween decor. Like Benjamin, that's so awesome. I love it. Monique, you're joining us from Amsterdam. Monique, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me too?
Oh, yes. Hi,
Yeah.
welcome. Thank you.
Hi.
This is Hollywood Kitchen debut. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for watching these. You've been a very faithful viewer of these, so thank you. Now tell us, what is your favorite Vincent Price film, your favorite Boris Karloff film, and why?
I don't really like horror movies. I don't sleep at night then, but I do I met Vincent Price's daughter a few years ago. She was in Amsterdam, and I think Peter was there too. I have this one.
Oh, cool.
And I bought 2 books, which she also signed for me.
Oh, how cool.
And this one. And I have this copy of her with me.
Oh,
So it was very interesting to see that. Yeah, talked about a lot of things we didn't know. Also the quotes he did. One of them was, it's on her website too. It's a man who limits his interests, limits his life. And I think that should apply for a woman too. So, well, my favorite Vincent movie has to be Song of Bernadette.
Okay.
That's my all-time favorite movie, so I'm glad he was in it. Yeah.
Very cool.
Sorry, no Boris Karloff movies. Not for me.
That's okay. Did you
I
make
like
the
him as an
guacamole?
actor. Sorry?
Did you make the guacamoles, Monique?
No. I was with my nephew in another town, so I was raised home. My daughter prepared the computer for me to be here on time. So, but I will definitely try Vincent. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Monique. I appreciate your watching the episodes and joining us today. Thank you.
Nice to be there. Yeah.
Okay, Liza and Ryan are up next. They are super awesome. I met them because they took the cemetery tour. Liza is an incredibly talented seamstress and costume designer. Ryan is a filmmaker, and they love horror and Halloween and all things goth. So I'm so happy to have you guys here today.
Thanks for having us.
We're super excited to be here.
We are.
Yes, and I love your orange wall with all the horror stuff. That is fabulous.
Thank you. Yeah, this is a hard call for me because like the first thing you see when you walk into our apartment is on one side like a signed copy of Vincent Price's like an invitation to his Halloween party, and on the other side is a Frankenstein painting. So they're like both staring at us off camera right now.
As it should be.
So it's a tough call.
What are your favorite, what Vincent Price movies and Boris Karloff movies are both of your favorites?
After you.
I mean, we just saw Vincent Price on the big screen last weekend at the New Beverly in House on Haunted Hill, and love that movie. Love the menace, and I mean that's high up there for me. But I have to say, probably my top Vincent Price movie is also Dr. Phibes.
I think I would go Mask of the Red Death.
Oh, those are
I love his Poe run. Was personally
excellent. And what about Boris Karloff?
Bride.
I'd say original Frankenstein with me. Yeah.
Okay.
But you know, hard to top the Frankenstein movies.
Yeah, he really put his.
Or the Grinch.
That's a good mention.
Yeah, I like this.
Yeah.
You know, his run as the Grinch was fun too.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny whenever I've made Boris's guacamole, I think about how the Frankenstein makeup was apparently originally bright green, like and they shot it in color, and then the Grinch was green, so it's kind of like this green theme with Boris.
It is appropriate for him, yeah.
It certainly is. Well, I know that you guys cook a lot because I've seen your social media and stuff. Tell me, did you make both guacamoles?
We did, and Ryan actually owns a moquete.
So we did it the right way.
Wow, that is so cool.
But poor Vincent just got regular bowl.
Yes.
But we actually haven't tried them yet.
Yeah, so let's put some tortilla chips out here.
All right. So
okay.
Two chips.
I couldn't find the Fright Bite chips this year. You know how they do the chips shaped like ghosts? I went to several stores and couldn't find them this year. So
I haven't seen those. That's so cute. Okay.
Our dog is very interested now.
All right. Shall we start with Boris?
Let's do it. Okay. Cheers. Classic. Hard to beat.
It's a very standard guacamole.
Can you taste the sherry? That's the $1 million question. Can you taste the sherry?
Unfortunately, we didn't have sherry.
Yeah, we had to skip the sherry.
No.
All right, let's try the
Like I said, when I made it, I never can taste it at all. So I kind of don't get why it's in there.
So we're not missing much by skipping the sherry then?
Yeah, not at all.
Okay.
Okay, you know. I wasn't sold on the mayonnaise in there, but I don't mind it. How are we feeling?
I don't mind the mayonnaise. I think mayonnaise is a fairly neutral flavor. The creaminess and the tang that you get from mayonnaise are things that you often look for in a guacamole because of the natural creaminess of avocados and the tang of the acidity that you always add. I'm a little bothered by the Worcestershire sauce. I think this is a good guacamole for people who don't like avocados.
Oh, I think we're a house divided right now. I'm liking Vincent's, and I think you're leaning Boris.
I vote Boris.
I vote Vincent.
All right, well, hey, this is getting interesting. All right, thank you guys so much.
Thank
This is
you.
awesome. Thank you for joining us. Okay, so Ruth, are you out there? Ruth? Okay, Ruth will help us moderate. Donna Hill, you are up next. Donna is a Rudolph Valentino historian. Can you guys hear me? And an incredible cook. And she was not able to make the recipes, but she is going to talk about the movies and the food. So Donna,
Yes,
welcome.
I will make guacamole in a couple of days once all of my avocados have ripened, because they have refused to ripen thus far. Okay, it's impossible for me to choose just one film for either Boris or Vincent. For Universal canon films, I would vote for The Mummy, because it's a dual role. The Mummy is, eminently creepy and scary, but the character of Ardith Bay is also wonderful, malevolent, and the makeup is amazing. It's such a stylish film, directed by Karl Freund. Yes, Karl Freund, rather than photographed by him. It's a wonderful film. For Boris, at his most malevolent and truly scary and frightening, I will pick Val Luton's The Body Snatcher.
Oh, yes.
That is a terrifying film. And if you haven't seen it, I'm not going to spoil it. You have to see it, because he's incredible in it. And it also has Bela Lugosi in it in a small part. It's one of the 4 or 5 films they did together, which brings me to my other third Karloff favorite, which would be The Black Cat, which is on this wonderful Eureka set. Stylish, incredible sets. I agree with Kristen that I would love to live in that house. Although I don't think I'd want to live in that house with Boris, because that is a batshit crazy movie. And for Vincent, like Hen, I love Theater of Blood. I'm so old, I saw it first run. I also saw it in a drive-in, and fantastic movie, because not only is it laced with humor and terror, it gives you an opportunity to hear Vincent perform Shakespeare. And it's something that, he was born to do, and wonderful. And of course, my other favorite is House of Wax, because in the beginning, you can feel his pain, as his creatures are being destroyed. And then he still appears to be somewhat normal for the second half of the film, until the very end. Marvelous film, beautiful effects, and interesting little point. As a film that was made in 3D, the director only had vision out of one eye, Andre de Toth. So they really did well with the effects on that for 3D. Anyway, those are my favorites.
Donna, I agree with you. In 2003, there was a gigantic 3D festival at the Egyptian Theater here in Hollywood, and I went, and I got to see that on film in 3D, and it was absolutely incredible to see it that way. And I agree with you. House of Wax is really a fantastic movie. Well,
And I also have to mention to Monique, I also love Vincent in Song of Bernadette. It's a wonderful film. It's one of my favorites as well.
And Donna, when you do get the avocados ripened, if you want to post about it, if any of you want to post about it, and hashtag Hollywood Kitchen, and then Guacamole Smackdown, and just tell us which one you like the best when you get the
sure.
All right, and thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Always a pleasure.
Always. And by the way, I have your picture frames on my table. Donna Hill gifted me as a housewarming gift these gorgeous Art Deco frames. So Vincent and Boris are absolutely in style here on my kitchen table. Thank you to Donna. All right, so let's move on to our next panelist. Hazel, how are you?
I'm great. I'm very excited to be here. I always watch your Hollywood Kitchen, so I can't believe I'm here. Talking about guacamole and Vincent Price and Boris Karloff. This is amazing.
Well, thank you for joining and thank you for watching. This has kind of kept me afloat during the pandemic, kind of connecting with people and making this food. So I'm so grateful to have people that love it. Tell me which is your favorite film from Vincent and Boris, and why?
Well, for me, it's more like, whatever, like the first movie that I saw and that really impressed me and as a child impacted me. I was a little girl in El Salvador and they would play classic movies on Friday nights because it wasn't like a school night. So I could stay late. And I would always look forward to it. So they would play all genres, but every once in a while they would play a horror movie. So for me, Boris Karloff would be Frankenstein, just because it was so, impactful for me, and him playing the monster. It was shocking for me at that age. I was probably like maybe 9. And from I'm sorry, Vincent Price is I kind of came to see his movies at like an older age. So I would say that I like House of Wax for sure. Like I just I don't know, the whole thing of like mannequins, maybe dead people. Like it was just I don't know. You get very impressed by those things. So I would say that.
Excellent. Those are all excellent choices. And did you make the guacamoles?
I made both guacamoles. It took a lot for me to put mayonnaise in one of them. So I made a very small amount. And I don't know, I'm gonna put them in a nicer plate after this so I can take a picture of them. But Boris Karloff is definitely more classic. And I love this one way better. And Vincent Price, I don't know, like I feel like I can taste absolutely everything. The mayonnaise, I don't know how to pronounce the Worcestershire sauce. And, like, so I just didn't really care for it. I didn't. So definitely, Boris Karloff.
Okay. Wow. Well, thank you so much, Hazel, for joining us today. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. This is fun.
Thank you. Next up, we have Annette Bohannon. Annette is my friend, and she has been on many Hollywood Kitchen episodes with me, and she's going to be on an epic Thanksgiving episode that we are currently literally cooking up as we speak. But Annette, tell us, you are joining us from, is it Indiana or Chicago today?
I'm in Indiana today. Yeah, but yeah, thanks so much for having me. My kitchen smells great. I've had these awesome guacamoles under my nose this whole time. But yeah, gosh, I have my 2, by the way, so lovely and very, very excited. I did snack on these while other people were talking, so I do have to say both are really, really good. And I unfortunately, it was very bad. I did not buy my avocados ahead of time, so they're not as ripe as they could be. So that might be a factor here, but I'd say, gosh, the Karloff one is good. I think I don't taste the sherry. I know you've been asking about that, but I think I taste like more onion than anything else. So I think, yeah, other stuff overpowers it, but maybe it gives it a little something special there. But the Vincent Price one, I think saved the day with the addition of mayo. I think it gives kind of the fake avocados are ready kind of feel to the guacamole. So I think it kind of saved the day in my little predicament there, but both are terrific. I would totally have fun recreating these again on a day when I have my avocados ripe and ready. But yeah, fantastic. But gosh, yeah, thinking about these 2 men who are truly, I mean, horror icons. It was so fun to think about their filmography because both of them did so much throughout their careers. I'm thinking, as far as some of my favorites go, for Vincent Price, I think the first like true horror film I saw of his was House on Haunted Hill. So that one has like a special place, I think, in my heart as a film fan. And I think his performance in that one is stellar. And it sort of fits that genre of horror films where we have everyone gathered in this mansion for some reason, and things are fated to go awry, and it's a fun movie to explore in that vein. Also, I do want to give a shout out to the movie Edward Scissorhands. I think it's not the first thing I think of with like classic Vincent Price, but that was my first exposure to him as an actor in general. So I think he does a nice job in his very brief appearance in that one. But as far as Karloff, another one who I really struggled with picking just one movie since he had so many of these phenomenal performances. But for me, it's also going to be the movie The Mummy, that 30s Universal version of it. I think as far as that movie, it's special because it is horror, but I think the way that the story unravels is just so poetically well done. Like, I love their inclusion of classical music when we are introduced to the film. It's so like atmospheric. I love his performance in the film. I think it's Zita Johann is the female lead. So in its own way, it's sort of a love story as far as these horror movies go, but his performance is stellar. And of course, I mean, I can think of right away his creepy, like hypnotic mummy stare when he sees his old girlfriend really reincarnated. So truly an icon, and I'm so glad we have that footage and can revisit him any time of year. But another thing I wanted to mention too is the makeup. I love reading about the different makeup artists, and I think it's Jack Pierce. His name comes up a lot as the key makeup artist for Universal. But Pierce had quite a schedule for these actors, transforming them into monsters. And just to give you a taste for Karloff's day, one day of filming, an example of that schedule would be that Pierce would start transforming Karloff like in his mummy gear at 11 o'clock a.m. So he applied cotton, collodion, spirit gum, all kinds of stuff to his face, clay in his hair, wrapped him in those bandages, and the bandages were like aged and burned in an oven. And I think there was acid used to like get them to look really rough and old. But the makeup job would finish at 7 p.m. So that's an 8-hour day of makeup alone. And then Karloff would shoot, he would do his scenes, and he would be done for the day with shooting by 2 a.m. And then there were another like 2 to 3 hours spent removing all that makeup too. So the amount of work that went into it on his part, and certainly for the cast and crew as well, is staggering. But what a performance we get, what a film we get in the end. So yeah, just hats off to both of these terrific individuals, but my vote is Vincent Price on this one.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Annette. Thank you for joining us. And again, stay tuned. Annette and I are cooking up something pretty epic for next month. So more on that coming very soon. I guess I'll go last here. I first saw Boris Karloff as a little girl because we had the horror movie matinee on Sunday afternoons on TV when I was little. And if I didn't fight with my brother all week and was good in school, I would get to watch the horror movie matinee. And that's where I first fell in love with movies. The first movie I ever saw was Bela Lugosi and Dracula. And that's pretty much why I'm here today doing what I do. And so love or hate my work, blame Bela for all of it. And of course, I saw Frankenstein shortly thereafter. And it really touched me and affected me. And I'm glad I saw it as a little kid, because I think you get older, you get kind of jaded about things and you get desensitized. So as a little girl, to kind of see these movies and see these images is very deeply impactful. And it's like all of you said, it's very hard to name a favorite film. Obviously for me, and this is such an obvious choice, but Bride of Frankenstein, that is one of the rare cases where the sequel actually surpasses the original in a lot of ways. And I just watched it on 35 millimeter at the brand new Academy Museum a few weeks ago in the theater there. And oh man, it was just absolutely stunning. So I love Bride of Frankenstein, but to just mention a different film for Boris that's not horror, I go to the UCLA Film Archive a lot here in LA. It's very special for me. And a few years ago, I saw a pre-code that Boris was in, and it was a gangster movie called The Criminal Code. And I was so excited to see him in it. And I thought, wow, this is so different to see Boris playing a gangster. And it was like, I think shortly before Frankenstein. So it was fun to see him in a totally different kind of situation. And as for Vincent Price, that's another hard one. These guys left us such a rich and incredible body of work. as a giant film noir fan, I of course love him in Leave Her to Heaven and Laura. But the horror fan side of me, I really love Dr. Phibes as well. That film is just bonkers on so many levels. And obviously it's great watching it on TV, but if you can get to it wherever you live, if you can see these on a big screen, that experience is just so visceral, you know, just sitting in the dark with him pounding away at that organ. And it's just absolutely incredible. So I'm going to say Bride of Frankenstein ultimately for Boris and Phibes for Vincent Price. Okay, I am now going to eat my food too. I found, by the way, this awesome coffin tray at Pier 1 Imports before they closed down. So I love this thing. All right, I'm going to taste Boris's right now. Very good. Okay, and now Vincent's. This is my first time ever tasting Vincent, so here's the moment of truth. You know, I'm gonna go with Vincent. I'm gonna go with Vincent. Boris's is a lot more chunky, and maybe that's because I didn't mash it up enough. But I do have to agree with what several others have said. I just did 1 teaspoon of mayonnaise because I made a little smaller portion-wise. But I think the mayonnaise, it does kind of have a real creamy sort of texture to it. And also Boris's, I don't know if you can see me holding up the bowls here, but Boris's is more of a green color. And I think the mayonnaise in the Vincent Price one really kind of gives it a paler color and a different look. But again, it's very rich, it's very creamy. I think both of them are good. I don't think you could go wrong with either one if you're having a party. They're both crowd pleasers. But if I had to pick, I'm gonna say Vincent for the win. All right, Ruth, are you with us? Ruth, do you want to see what people are saying on Facebook? If anybody has any comments, questions? Ruth? Are you there? See if Ruth can hear me. Ruth! Hey. Okay, let's see if anybody has anything to say about the Guacamole Smackdown. Okay, we do have 87 comments, so it looks like people are at least watching. Okay, I think Vincent is victorious. Oh, Lockie is saying that he also agrees with me about the criminal code. So it looks like people are.
Can you hear me, Carrie?
Ruth, yes. Hi, welcome Ruth Munsack, my friend, my fellow TCM fan, and frequently helps me behind the scenes on these.
Okay, so I put a shout out. I put a shout out to see if anybody had any questions.
Okay, and you can ask any of our panelists or Peter Fuller from Vincent Price Legacy. So does anyone have anything they're dying to ask us?
Okay, so I put a shout out. I put a shout out to see if anybody had any questions.
Okay, and you can ask any of our panelists or Peter Fuller from Vincent Price Legacy. Okay, we're getting an echo from somewhere, you guys.
Okay, so I put a shout out. I put a shout out to see if anybody had any questions.
Ruth, guys, we're getting an echo. We're getting an echo here. Anybody either turn off the Facebook or Ruth, any questions?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Peter, let's circle back to you again. So I think that if everybody can mute, guys, because we're getting a big echo here. So Peter, let's circle back to you and
Not at this time.
Not yet. Not yet. Okay. Peter, let's circle back to you again. So guys, could everybody mute? If everybody can mute, guys, because we're getting a big echo here. So Peter, let's Ruth? Okay, Peter, can you unmute and we'll circle back to you? Everybody mute.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now. Thank you so much. So I think after going through our incredible panel, I think Vincent for the win. Vincent for the win.
Well, I think that's great because I actually did tonight. I actually did Boris's version because I've actually done Vincent's about 4 or 5 times, and I've really enjoyed it. And I've even done the bit where he actually says in the book, where he actually sort of says you can actually blitz it to make it even more creamier. You don't really need to do it, but you can just mash it up. But I actually found his actually to be better because, again, there is no real sherry hit with Boris's. But the one thing I do is that I'm not really big on onion. So I swap the onion with spring onion, which is green. I think it's called green onions in America.
Okay.
So it gives a milder taste. So it's not too sharp. And also is that I was very lucky. I was in Scotland just recently, and I found this fantastic shop which actually dealt with Mexican foods. I had a fantastic. This guy actually runs this shop, and he actually does a book which is actually Mexican wrestlers book cookbook, and he has imports like loads of stuff from Mexico, including like real tortillas and And I got proper green chilies, the green chili cans, which basically when we sort of say what is your when a recipe sort of says green chilies, what does that mean? It's like is it actually hot chilies? Is it so anyway, I got some of the, and it worked really well. So
Right. So you're telling me there is a Mexican wrestling cookbook?
it's called, actually I'll look it up. It's called the Mexican Wrestlers Cookbook, and it was done by a Scottish guy, okay, in Edinburgh.
Oh yeah, I think we need to get on this one.
It's so good.
We need to get on this.
It was self-published. I mean, it's like, he just, did it in his shop, but it's so good. It's like, it was him and some wrestler from Mexico that actually got together and did it. It's great because I love Mexican cooking. When I've been to Mexico, 4 times now? And it's one of my favorites. So, that's why doing a guacamole, like tonight, I actually did a guacamole, but I've also did Vincent's recipe for Mexican corn cream. And also I made crab tamales from the Mexican cookbook, wrestler's cookbook. So I've done a little, smorgasbord of like Mexican stuff. So.
Wow, that is, yeah. What do you think of all this?
Well, I'm a guacamole super fan, and now that I've had a chance to really taste this, well, first of all, the Mexican wrestling cookbook sounds awesome, and we should definitely try something out of that, I think.
But I need to get on that, like
if I can find it. But yeah, no, I was very skeptical about the mayonnaise, but it actually adds this like weird sweetness that I'm not used to. So it's just different. And this is the other thing is that in Mexico, Worcestershire sauce is called salsa inglesa, so it's English sauce. And it's actually quite popular.
I so need to get a bottle of that.
Yeah, and people put it on pizza. I don't know if that's just around my area thing, regional, but like, yeah, it's actually pretty popular, the English sauce.
I mean, the thing that we use it mainly for is basically Welsh rarebit, or basically put it on cheese on toast.
Yeah, well, I guess that makes sense with pizza then.
I have never had Welsh rarebit before, but it does come up in a lot of celebrity recipes, so I do need to do that eventually.
It's basically cheese on toast.
Really? Because it sounds so like exotic to someone like myself. It's like, wow, what is that?
It's a bit like croque monsieur. It's like, it always sounds very, very grand, but in fact, it's just cheese on toast.
Well, as an American, what's wrong with cheese on toast?
It's fantastic.
Nothing.
Nothing at all, Donna. Nothing at all.
Exactly. I think we should do a Hollywood Kitchen.
Yeah, a Welsh rarebit. I think there's a James Cagney Welsh rarebit. I think there might be a Marion Davies one. I need to crack open my cookbook collection and
That's a great challenge. The cheese on toast Welsh rarebit challenge. Fantastic. Yeah.
I love doing things where we are all together. Like this past year, it was such a dreary year for the Academy Awards. And normally living in Hollywood, it's a huge deal. And I'd be getting all dolled up for some big Oscar party somewhere. And so since that wasn't going to happen, I did an Oscar cook along. And it was so fun. Everybody chose the recipe of like a nominee or a winner, and then talked about the film they won or were nominated for, and then made a dish. And this coming year, I've decided we're going to change up the theme, and it's going to be, they should have won an Oscar, they didn't, and it sucks. And there's going to probably be a lot of Jean Arthur, Irene Dunn. And again, all of you guys are invited. And I love kind of doing these virtual parties. It's so much fun.
Carrie,
I've got to also ask, talking about Mexican food, is that we have a section in the book which is called Extra Helpings, and we devoted 2 pages to a Mexican star. Does anyone know who Dolores Del Rio is?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, yes.
Heck yeah.
So we have a whole 2-page spread on her, okay, and she got three recipes from her, because she was not a co-star of Vincent. But Vincent made a promise to her, and that was that she came to him one day, and Alan Bates, a British actor, was actually at dinner with Vincent, and a woman came up to him and sort of said, "Oh, can I get your signature?" Vincent signed it, Dolores Del Rio. And Alan Bates turned around and said, "I think she's going to be very angry with you, because when she gets, she's going to look at the sign and go, that doesn't say Vincent Price." She goes, no. Dolores said to me, before she died, she said, "Make sure they remember me." So now he used to sign occasionally his signature, Dolores Del Rio. So I just thought it would be great to actually put her in the book.
Let's do a Dolores Del Rio episode with you, and we'll get some other, oh my God, the minute I get your cookbook, we are going to start working on that.
Yeah, Dolores, love Dolores, so yeah.
Oh, that needs to happen. Oh,
So, Carrie, can you hear me now?
yes, I can, Bruce. Yes.
So I was checking, and there's a question about Peter's book, and I think you guys are going to be posting the link to where to order the book.
Yes.
That will be on the site later on.
I'll post it on HollywoodKitchenShow.com, and I'll post it on all of my social media channels when we're done today.
Yes.
Yeah. Is that what people were wanting to ask?
Yeah, that was one of Danny's questions that he was asking about the book. And he also wants to know where Liza and Ryan can be found on social media. Did we decide who the ultimate winner was on this?
Vincent Price.
Vincent Price.
Liza, Ryan, how can we find you on social media?
After you.
We are both on Facebook and a little more active on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can find me at Liza Daly and
me, Ryan_Cultrera, CULTRERA. And we also run a page called Grave Robber Inc. for anyone who's interested in the arts and history of cemeteries.
And you guys are always having goth adventures. I live vicariously through quite a lot of them. So thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, I love you posted about cemeteries in Greece, and then like a cat you saw at a cemetery in Greece. I was like, oh my gosh, you're taking a close up.
It was, yeah. When we were walking around, we were saying that. It's a great close up.
I officially think of close up every time I see a cat in a cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's kind of the ultimate ambassador. He took like 95% of the tour yesterday. He is like, he's a mega star at this point. He truly is.
I so want to see him now. I want to come over now and see him.
He's so sweet.
It's like right out of a movie. I mean, literally 2 years ago, he just ran out of nowhere, jumped onto Mill's grave. And long before I had a whole bag of food and treats and toys and catnip, he would just follow me around. Like, so it's kind of something you just cannot make up. It just happened. And
has he ever been on Vampira's grave next door to Darren McGavin?
Yeah. In fact, there's this wonderful artist on Instagram, and if you go to Close Up the Cemetery Cat on Instagram, she did a painting or a drawing of Vampira holding Close Up in her arms, and I nearly started crying when I saw it. And December of 2022 is going to mark Vampira's centenary. So I am already lobbying the crap out of the cemetery. I'm like, 100 years of Vampira, like it needs to happen. So I'm really hoping they will pull out the stops and do
Okay,
something.
I'm going to so be there then.
Oh yeah, and David
Same.
Gould, who was a writer on The Simpsons and a stand-up comedian, I was on his podcast a few months ago, and I recorded it up at his house. Which, by the way, I was trying so hard to control myself because it was unfreaking believable. And he has so much goth and horror, and it was like he could charge tickets to go there. But anyway, he had vampira stuff, and he was very close with her. So he's going to be very involved, I think, in the vampira centenary. So as soon as details are available, I will certainly be posting about that for sure. But
I can tell you this, Carrie, people are really talking about the Doris Del Rio.
Yes, I think we've hit on something with this Dolores Del Rio idea, you know? And one thing I really try to do with Hollywood Kid, and it's difficult to do, but is the diversity issue, because I think there's so many international people that made Hollywood what it is. That's why last year I did a Michael Curtiz episode, and I made Velma Banky's Hungarian goulash. And then I did an Anna May Wong episode, and I try to kind of when and where I can find incredible diverse recipes. I think that's so fun to explore. So yes, as soon as I get your book, Peter, we have got to cook up literally a Dolores Del Rio extravaganza.
Fabulous.
Yes, that needs to happen.
I hear Danny Miller says that they make good Welsh rabbit at Musso and Frank's.
Really?
Yeah, I was just there too. I don't recall seeing it, but who knows?
Who knows? I will have to explore that. Maybe we can soon, Ruth.
Yeah, let's do that, Carrie. Let's go check it out.
Yeah. Well, does anybody else have any questions or anything you want to chat about? Anyone have any exciting Halloween plans out there?
Well, I've got Day of the Dead coming up, so that's going to be like a week of stuff.
Excellent. I bet it's very different in Mexico than it is in Hollywood. I would be very curious to maybe visit you one day and see how you guys celebrate as opposed to how it's done here.
I've been in Mexico during that time for the Day of the Dead, and it is quite different.
Oh yeah, how is it different? How does it work down there?
Because to me, it's a celebration of life and remembering your loved ones, and it's not spooky to me.
Oh yeah, how do you?
Yeah, I mean, it's as she said, yeah, it's more of like a day of like remembrance for family and things like that, but even just the aesthetic is very bright. There's flowers everywhere, like orange and yellow flowers everywhere. Like
marigolds.
I went to the market earlier to get my avocados, and yeah, just marigolds everywhere. Yeah, and it's just it's fun. Like everybody does the Katrina costumes and the Katrina costumes. And yeah, just even like walking from the convenience store, I just saw Katrina just like walking by, because people do very elaborate, awesome costumes with great makeup. And it's like days. It's like not just one day. It's like practically a whole week of things going on. And there's parades. There's, if you go to the cemeteries, like people decorate the graves and the crypts, and it's so fun.
Because whereabouts are you based? Whereabouts are you based there in Mexico?
I'm in Cholula, which is in central Mexico. It's in Puebla State, so I'm not far from Mexico City. I'm about 2 hours from Mexico City.
Because I've done Day of the Dead in Oaxaca and Morelia.
Now Oaxaca is a great place to go.
It was fantastic. Morelia was my favorite because it just had less tourists and it was more about people, families, and celebrating. Oaxaca was much more of a show, but we actually I got fully made up. I was actually a full skeleton with makeup and everything, and all the Katrinas loved me. They actually took me off, and actually I was around the market square. It was great fun. Loved it.
Hen, Benjamin, do you guys have any kind of celebrations that you do in England and Germany for Halloween?
Well, we have trick-or-treaters that come round, but to be honest, I think where I live, it's just people going to the pub in slutty witch costumes and getting drunk, mostly. To be honest, I stay in and I pick a favourite horror film to watch, but there's so many. I've been doing it all October, really.
That's the greatest way to spend October, in my opinion.
I think I'm going to save Dracula for Halloween. I think I need a bit of Bella on October 31st.
I agree. And also the 90th year anniversary of that film too.
And I feel like I'm coming across as the sex maniac of this episode. But I heard recently that,
Every episode's got to have one, girl.
Well, I'll fill that role, even at my age. No, Bella has this, David Scarr said on one of your last Hollywood Kitchens that he showed Dracula to a lot of students, and they said, is he a matinee idol? And they all sort of said, oh no. I mean, what are they looking at? He's hot as hell, right?
I agree with you 100%.
Thank you, Carrie. Thank you.
I would have been on that like white on rice had I been around.
I feel I've lowered the tone of Hollywood Kitchen considerably.
Love it, and I'm all here for it.
Oh,
Well,
Hen,
there was a lot of
Hen,
dancing
I've
going
got
on.
to tell you a story of my last time I went to Newcastle and I went to a Chinese restaurant there.
Oh, do we need to have a private conversation about that?
No, when you were talking about slutty, dresses and things,
Oh.
it was hilarious.
Oh, well.
Benjamin, any fun stuff going on in Germany?
Well, it's also like children's trick or treat here. I think it becomes very American, like over the last 20 years. But it's like, with me, it's like Hen said, I will prefer to enjoy a movie, when it's foggy outside or rainy or even stormy, and you watch an old Hollywood movie. That's my kind of Halloween thing, really.
It's supposed to have a huge rainstorm in Los Angeles starting on Monday morning. So I think I'm just gonna get a whole pile of DVDs and just Monday night, just do a marathon, actually. It's a great way to do it, especially when it's thundering or raining, or it just kind of adds to the atmosphere. Anybody
Absolutely.
else have any epic Halloween plans you want to share?
Gary, can I show you something?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, is that Black Rabbit?
This guy. You're talking about the Labradors, so I think she must
So
be.
cute.
Black Labs are the greatest. Oh my God, I miss my Max so desperately. Try not to cry. Okay.
I'm
Thank
sorry.
you for letting me see. I wish I could dive through the screen and hold and pet him right now.
She would love that. Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, thank you for showing him off. Liza, Ryan, Donna, do you guys have any cool Halloween plans? I know you guys do. I know you do.
Well, we just moved to the trick-or-treat neighborhood of the valley, so we're this will be our first year living here. We're gonna walk around and check out all the neighbors' displays and probably have a couple trick-or-treaters ourselves. And we're thinking about checking out the Hollywood Forever Dia de los Muertos they're doing.
By the way, the night tickets have totally sold out, and I think they only have day tickets. They're having to limit capacity this year because I think the one before the pandemic, they had like 40,000 something people.
Yeah, it was really crowded 4 times.
So
Yeah,
I guess we're going in the daytime.
I've heard that they're really limiting like the numbers this year. So if you guys want to go, get your tickets ASAP because
Noted.
All right.
And we'll also contribute our dog here.
Oh, what's the
You
dog
want to say
say?
hi to everyone?
Oh,
Very
hello,
cool.
beauty.
Yeah, Halloween.
Oh, she's tired.
That's a cool dog. Halloween is my birthday. I was actually born on Halloween night.
Oh, nice. That's perfect.
Couldn't write a better backstory for my whole life, but yeah, I
That's
used to do a cemetery tour on Halloween. So this year my tour will be at 3 o'clock, so it'll kind of be finishing up around sunset. And I'm just going to meet up with a couple friends and stuff like that. But today, after I finish this episode, actually, I'm going to go down to Heritage Square Museum. They're doing a history of cult religions in Los Angeles exhibit and interactive thing today. So
We were
I
thinking
think
about
I
popping
think-
over there too.
Huh?
We were thinking about popping over there too.
Yeah, that is like one of my happy places in Los Angeles. I
Yeah.
just live for those Victorian houses.
Oh, same.
So very exciting.
Maybe we'll
Okay,
see you
now,
there.
I am not the biggest Halloween person, but I do like a good costume. So I always love to see what the kids are, what the in thing for the kids are this year. So one of my little cousins, well, she's a mother now, so her 2-year-old, 3-year-old wanted to be Superman, and the costume was bought, and he looked at it every day, he talked about it every day, and finally she caved and let him wear it for half an hour or so. So I'm going to see lots of really fun pictures of that. So that makes me excited for Halloween, is to see the joy of the kids and how much fun they're having.
I wish I could borrow someone's baby just for Halloween so I could dress them up. Not that it works like that at all, but yeah, my nephew's very first Halloween, my sister-in-law went as Princess Leia, my brother was Han Solo, and she got a baby Bjorn and put my nephew in the Bjorn and knitted him a Yoda hat with horns, and then knitted him a little baby lightsaber, and he actually won first place at a costume contest when he's like a few months old, so it's pretty awesome. Annette and Hazel, huh?
Sorry, you go on.
Annette, Hazel, do you guys have any fun Halloween plans?
We don't have plans, but for the first time in years, our street is looking more festive, and they have decorated and stuff. So we are expecting kids. Usually I always buy candy and not one kid comes by, but this time I'm prepared. I got like 3 pounds of candy. So we're ready and excited about it. So we'll be handing out candy.
And show us your dog.
Yeah, this is Chato. Everybody was showing off their dogs, so I had to show off mine too.
Oh, so cute.
I have 3. He's the oldest.
How many dogs do you have?
3.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, I have 3. He's the oldest.
Oh.
This is my baby, one of them.
Animals are the best. They truly are.
And I mean, sorry, I feel like I'm going off topic right now, but going back to the guacamole, Boris Karloff had posted something about, tortilla chips with the guacamole, but also corn crisps. And I was like, corn crisps, what is that? So I found some, just in case anybody is interested, but they're actually very tasty and very interesting. And I've heard that they have them at Costco. I got them online. They're called Samas.
Oh.
But I've never tasted anything like this before. I was a corn crisp, and they're like white corn. They are gluten-free, I think fat-free, and I don't know, but super. I've never tasted anything like this, corn crisps.
And where'd you get those again, Hazel?
Well, I got them online, but when I Google them, it says that sometimes Costco has them.
Wow.
Super interesting, very lightly salted, but they're good. I discovered something planning for Hollywood Kitchen. I discovered something new that I like.
Excellent. I did not know these existed. Now I do. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And here I was just doing lettuce,
Lettuce?
Yeah, I just did, because also he also says you could put it on a plate of lettuce. So.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll show this isn't my dog, I'm a pet sitter. So this is who I'm hanging with today and for part of the week. And his little brother is over there, but he's blind. So he just kind of likes to hang in his own space a bit. But Lola is hanging with me.
Oh. Very cool. Very good. Annette, any Halloween plans?
Yeah, this time around, I mean, I assume it's going to rain out here too. So probably just laying low, watching some horror movies. And I love giving out candy to the trick-or-treaters, like right when the hours start, when it's like the really little kids in their costumes and they're just having a blast. It's hard for me not to just give them the whole bag of candy because they're so adorable. But ordinarily, I mean, I'm really hoping things calm down a little with all the COVID stuff happening. But usually I would go back home to the Chicago suburbs, and there's an estate called the San Filippo Estate. It's a charitable organization / someone's home. It's this large like mansion in Barrington Hills, and they have this fabulous, beautiful collection of just all kinds of turn of the century instruments and like music boxes, like large like player piano like type things, and just a fabulous collection and a full-on carousel from like the 1890s that the owner of the home had like refurbished, and it's beautiful. You get rides on it if you go on a tour. But they do an awesome Halloween celebration where they'll screen a silent film. This person has an original theater organ built in his home theater auditorium, as you do. And they do a screening of that. It's a 20s themed costume party, and there's dinner and carousel rides and touring the collection. But I have so much fun dressing up. My boyfriend and I, on our most recent trip pre-COVID, we dressed up as Charlie Chaplin and Mary Pickford. So we were running around in costume. We had our little United Artists contract, like framed in a little 8x10 frame.
I need photos of this.
Absolutely, I will definitely share them. So I'm fingers crossed, hoping that comes back. We've been sitting on some really fun costume ideas for a little while now. So silly COVID, but hopefully that ends soon. And of course, my dog is also here. He's been up before. This is Hoagie. It's his first Halloween, and he's sleepy right now, but he's got his costume ready too. I think he's gonna be a little bumblebee this year. So yeah, gosh, yeah, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it nonetheless.
Excellent. Donna, any Halloween plans? Donna?
Sorry, took me a minute to unmute. I'll probably watch a movie because I live in an apartment building. There are no trick-or-treaters, not even within the building. People don't take their kids to knock on any doors. So I'll probably watch a movie. I'm not sure which one. It's been a while since I've watched The Black Cat, so I may actually watch that.
No costume for your cat Tango?
She would not hear of it. She won't even wear a collar.
Tango does not like me. I like Tango, but Tango does not like me.
Well, don't feel bad. Tango doesn't like a lot of people. When I was in Italy earlier this month, she did not like my cat sitter. And she did not like the way the cat sitter rearranged everything in the apartment. So she made it known when I got home that she was displeased.
Hopefully she got rid of the cat sitter in a diabolical way.
No, she didn't. But
you almost got rid of Donna.
She did hiss quite a bit, and I can't say that I blame her. Seeing the way things were moved around when I got back, it was no wonder she was irritated, because kitties don't like change. So
Donna, Tango pulled a Dr. Fives and tried to get rid of you last summer.
Oh yeah.
In fairness.
Well, that's what cats do. They try to kill their
yeah, Tango ran under Donna's feet while she was carrying a big glass full of smoothie and tripped Donna, and she fell, landed on her side, and you had to call 911.
Yes, I did, because I had injured my arm and I could not get up off the floor.
I think Vincent Price would somehow approve of Tango's diabolical ways.
Oh, cats are like that. My black cat totally has a contract out on me. He lurks on the stairs and dives at the right moment.
What's his name, Ken?
Claude, after Claude Rains.
Perfect name.
Hilarious. Ruth, are there any other questions from any of the viewers?
I just checked and everyone's just digging the pups. They're loving hearing about Halloween in other people's countries. That's been a big hit. Gary is telling us that the cult religion exhibit sounds quite interesting and talks about how the great climate of Southern California brought a lot of new religions to the Golden State back in the day.
Yeah, heritagesquare.org if anybody lives in LA and can get down there this afternoon. And I really have a big space in my heart for like small museums, because I think a lot of those places are so interesting. And I think a lot of them probably financially, they need all the support and membership they can get. So Heritage Square is kind of a special place for me. And I know a lot of other people too.
And also, would you like to watch that little video clip?
Yes, Peter, I would. Can you, I made you the co-host, so would you be able to show us the video?
So I thought we would actually like just have a little break here and you can actually just watch, considering it's Vincent and Boris, I thought we'd actually show something Vincent and Boris together singing a song together. This is a classic from the Red Skelton show and it's called The Two of Us.
I think this is a great way to wrap up the episode. So
yes.
Oh, you've disabled a screen sharing, darling. You'll have to actually.
Oh, I
change
did?
it.
Oh, shoot, hang on. My kitchen's so small, it's a big maneuver to, let's see. Okay, Peter Fuller.
And I love this. I think this is great. Just watching them together.
Make co-host. Okay, it should work now.
All right. So, okay, sure. Let's have a look and let's hope it all works. So, hopefully you can see all of this now. Yeah, you can see all of this.
Everybody see it?
Yes.
And you can all see this?
Yes.
Okay.
Lovely. Here we go.
Boris, you know I'm really a fan of yours.
That's very kind of you indeed, Vincent. Thank you.
You know, I saw one of your pictures last night.
Did you really?
Yes.
What a coincidence. I saw you the night before.
Tell me, was that your last picture?
I hope not. The two of us.
No bogeyman is greater than the two of us. The people scream about the team of Karloff and Price, although we're as nice as can be.
My buddy and me.
There's just the two of us, and we'll be always traveling on. The two of us. There's lots of gory pictures for the two of us. He used to shine as Frankenstein, and I was the fly. They forced us to die every time to pay for the crime. They killed the two of us, but we'll be always traveling on. And late in the evening, we come out and play.
A couple of monsters on their merry way.
We go to the graveyard for a corpse or two. So treat us kind or you may find the next one is you. That's enough. That's enough. See if you can stop him, Mr. Karloff.
You take on, Junior.
No, take a crack at it, Dancy.
Well, nice to know you've still got it.
You know, this is the first time I've ever seen the corpse set up with a driver. And the corpse happens to be driving.
What a macabre sense of humor.
What do you mean?
You know, I really think you're one of us.
Yes, you know, he'd probably be a marvelous monster. Yeah.
The three of us. A talent scout should hear about the three of us. No movie screen has ever seen a ghastlier sight than we are tonight on our show.
Three of us, and we'll be always traveling on.
Let's say it again.
It's just the three of us, and we'll be always traveling on.
One more time.
It's just the three of us, and we'll be always traveling on. No!
There we go.
Well, Peter, I think this is a great note to end this episode on. So thank you all to all of my outstanding panelists today for making guacamole or just showing up and talking about your favorite monsters, your favorite Halloween traditions and activities, and showing us your cute pets. What a great way to spend a Sunday. So
Thank you very much. Thank you, Carrie. This has actually been fantastic.
it has. And the minute I get your book, we are going to go to town and do some more episodes, including the Doris Del Rio super special. And I think there's so much fun stuff we can do with this cookbook. I'm very excited about it.
And can I just say, like, for anybody in the US, is that if you want to order the cookbook, we're only taking orders until November the 7th, because only 250 books have been ordered, printed, and 100 books have already been sold. So we need to, like, if you're going to get it in, got to get it in now, because otherwise if it's gone after the 7th of November, gone. So.
And you don't want to pay $500 on eBay for it. So,
No.
Well, Peter, thank you so much. Thank you to all of our panelists. I'm taking next weekend off because it's Halloween and it's my birthday, but Hollywood Kitchen is going to return in November with a roster of 3 episodes gearing toward Thanksgiving that you are not going to want to miss. So Peter, thank you again. Thank you, everybody. And please stay tuned for more food, fun, and film history from Hollywood Kitchen. And now I am going to eat a lot of guacamole. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Goodbye, everyone. Thanks for
Bye.
joining me.
Thank you.
Bye.
Happy birthday,
Thank you. This
Carrie.
was a blast.
Take care, everyone.
And
Thank you
happy
very much.
birthday, Carrie.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Nice meeting everybody.